So you're looking for a luxury SUV, one that is electrified. This is the 2025 Audi SQ6 Sportback. It has no changes for 2026. There are different variances, there are different trim levels, and we're going to show you the Prestige trim level. This is the one I would personally buy. It is fully loaded, and this vehicle is all Audi inside and out, which means high tech, good performance, a reliable vehicle that you're going to want to take for a test drive. There are two different variances, the performance variance, which is the Q6, and a similar one, which is the Q5. Slightly different, but the SQ6 lineup is available either as a standard silhouette SUV or a fastback Sportback model, which is our test car. The Sportback reduces rear seat and cargo space, but it's more aerodynamic and offers better driving range and fuel efficiency. There are 6 different trim levels, and the Prestige is the top trim level. The one thing you're going to notice is the front end looks different from that of their hybrid and gasoline-powered vehicles. LED headlights, also adaptive headlights, which are fantastic. When you're going around a corner, it lights up the area. LED driving lights, everything in this vehicle is going to be high-end and top of the line. Curb weight, 5,446 pounds. I do like the monochromatic color all the way across the vehicle. It really makes it stand out in the crowd. Because this is an electric car, there is no engine in the front. However, there is a frunk, which is a great place for storing cables and other items you might need, like an emergency kit. When it comes to performance, this vehicle has 483 horsepower, but a push boost button will bring it to 510 horsepower with its dual motor performance. The SQ6 is up 54 horsepower from the Q6, and these vehicles only come all-wheel drive. 0 to 60 time, very fast, 3.8 seconds. There is a fake exhaust note that I'm really not a fan of, but you can turn that on or off. It's easy to deactivate. Regenerative brakes can be adjusted at different levels, so you can decide if you want to use a one-pedal type style driving or you want it to drive like a regular gasoline-powered vehicle. EPA range is 275 to 283 miles, depending upon which battery you choose to purchase. That's equivalent to about an 89 to 91 mpge. We have covered that on our Car Coach Reports channel. It's best to calculate electric vehicles based on range, not by mpge, because it's not a fair comparison. Battery power is a 94.4 kilowatt hour battery pack that has a peak charging rate of 270 kilowatts, which Audi says can take a battery from 10 to 80% in 21 minutes. The SQ6 e-tron will deliver 275 miles of range, while the Sportback has a little better 283 miles of range because of its sleek design. All the Audi e-tron vehicles have very unique wheel designs. In this case, these are 21-inch alloy wheels on all-season Bridgestone tires. This gray color, which I call a Nardo gray, is a classic Audi color and very popular. You'll also note puddle lights on these black mirrors. Turn signals are integrated into this, and soft closed doors as well. Black trim all the way around the windows, privacy glass in the back. Our test vehicle does not have the screens that automatically go up, which is one of the things that's great when you have little kids. Let's take a look at the inside of this vehicle. Inside the Audi SQ6, there are some impressive details that you would find in any of the competitors. Leather seats that are real leather. On the sides, it's a cloth material. I do like this diamond stitching, which is what Audi has brought into their portfolio. Flat-bottomed, leather, heated steering wheel, heated massage seats, and vented, of course. What would you expect when you're talking about a luxury vehicle? You're only going to get the best of the best. Curved display, which is gigantic and focused toward the driver. On the passenger side, there is a screen. We're going to talk about that in a little bit when we take this for a test drive, because there's some pluses and minuses to this screen, and there's some caveats to that as well. Now, inside you're going to find a lot of gloss black. I'm not a fan of gloss black. It's a lot of fingerprints, including around the shifter area. The parking button is a little small. I'd like to see it easier to press the button. It seems like you got to get your fingernail in there. Start, stop button, and very, very limited knobs and buttons. Even on the steering wheel, it's all smooth, more gloss black. There is a volume button. You can mute it, and that's about it. Everything else, including climate control, is controlled within the center screen. And the dilemma with that is if you're watching navigation, you're listening to something on the radio, you have to get off that screen to get to the climate control and then go back. So they've consolidated it for technology reasons, but for consumer use, I'd like to see it different, at least a separate control for climate, because we do like to adjust that. Really nice Alcantara materials, not just on the top of the cover for the armrest, but also across the top. Real carbon fiber, real leather materials, and a beautiful cloth material on the glass ceiling. There's a huge glass ceiling that has staged cover on it, which is nice as well. The steering wheel is flat top and bottom, by the way, and we'll talk about that some more as we go driving. There's a reason for that. Aluminum pedals, because this is the SQ6. Heading into the second row, there are 2 child latch systems on the outboard seating. A person can sit in the middle. There's also an armrest with built-in cup holders. I do like this. This is a new departure for Audi. They used to have them all clipped in. Not really a fan of those. I like them built into the armrest so there's no damage. These seats do fold down 40, 20, 40, so you can put long items in if you need to. Again, it's about flexibility and using this like an SUV. Behind each seat is netting, and there's climate control adjustments and heated seats, as well as a climate adjustment. One last thing, the Bang & Olufsen audio system is top of the line and quite a spectacular sound system. It's built into the doors, it's all the way around this vehicle, and they've done a really nice job balancing the audio. If you're an audiophile, sit in the car and just listen to the tunes. You're gonna like it. Heading around to the back of the vehicle, there is a very cool wing that keeps this rear end down at speed. Hopefully you're not going that fast, at least not on the streets. LED taillights, quite unique and specific to the Audi lineup because they've always had great signature lighting. Whether you approach the vehicle or you're using their daytime running lights, they're really, really cool. First to the market, by the way. SQ6 logo is here, clean. Otherwise, there's no exhaust pipes because this is an electric vehicle. Storage capacity is 30 cubic feet with the seats up. Fold down those seats and you're at 60 cubic feet of storage. Folding down the seats is as easy as pulling this lever and the seats fold down. Pretty simple. You have to manually pull them up. However, this vehicle does have an ability for you to lower the rear end if you have to bring a heavy item into the vehicle, and then you can raise it back up. That's over on the left side. Pretty simple buttons. Underneath this cover is your charging cables, which do come with the vehicle. And there's a NACS adapter as well as a wall adapter that's included in the bag. There's a lot of details about the warranty on this vehicle that's important to note when you're comparing vehicles, and we'll talk about the competitors in just a second. Limited warranty of 4 years, 50,000 miles. Powertrain is 4 years, 50,000 miles. The electric components, however, are 8 years or 100,000 miles, and complimentary maintenance is good for 3 years or 30,000 miles, and that's included with the vehicle. So we're inside the SQ6, which is a 25/2026. There is no difference. First thing you're gonna see is a gigantic panoramic screen. Now this is really nice because what you're getting is a Google-based interface, which before was an Audi, they call it MMI, the multimedia interface. But what's different about this particular vehicle is you're now getting Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, it's wireless. Not that that's unexpected. You're also getting a wonderful head-up display and the optional 10.9-inch passenger screen. Now, this is something interesting. Now, I'm wearing polarized glasses. On or off, I can still see the screen on the passenger side. I should not be able to see that. That's an issue for me because I think when you're on a long road trip and someone's in the passenger seat and they've got a full entertainment screen in front of them and maybe they're talking about what they're watching in a conversation, I can now shift my vision from the roadway to what's on the right. And that's not good. I can see the navigation, I can see the audio system, I can see all the way to the end where I can see the time and everything. You should not be able to do that. Now, the only brand that I know for sure has blacked that out is Jeep when you're talking about Grand Wagoneer, which is a completely different price point and a different vehicle. I don't know, it's something that I have an issue with personally. I don't think you should be able to see all the way over there. There are some exceptions. The Lincoln Nautilus, for example, has a full screen that arches all the way across and you can see the passenger side. So I guess this is a personal thing for the driver. Do you want to be able to see what's over there or not? I guess it depends, like I said, on the driver and your situation. Probably not great for a new driver because they need to keep their eyes on the road, which is why I personally love head-up displays. This gigantic head-up display has navigation. It's got traffic sign recognition, everything I need. Tons of information in front of you. You can change the view. They've always had this where you can change the view of what you want. Do you want more? Do you want less? Do you want to change the screen? All of that is on the left side of the steering wheel. I do love the graphics. Have always been phenomenal with Audi. My turn signal's on, it shows. The car in front of me has their brake lights on. it shows in the center. It's a nice little thing. And I think that's one of those things that people get easily distracted with, not just these gigantic screens, but just life in general, everything. What's outside the car
turn right.
And what's inside the car. And so having this additional information, I think, is a nice little safety feature, but Audi's always had top safety. So one of the things I really like about this vehicle is the fact that everything is easy to use. If you've owned an Audi in the past, it's extremely intuitive. I own an Audi TT RS, so I've been used to, and I've owned other Audis over the years, and I've had nothing but great experiences with them. Easy to read screens. I mean, this is completely different from the past generation with this gigantic screens and lots of information. You can reduce a lot of that if you wish. You can even have an exhaust noise removed or added, which I find sort of amusing because this is an electric vehicle, and a lot of people that have them don't want to hear the exhaust noise because that's part of the reason that they bought it, because they want the silence. And you can reduce all that if you want. Of course, outside the vehicle, it's required by law that if you're going in reverse, that you can hear a noise. There are people that are limited in hearing, and they have to be able to hear the tone that there's a vehicle there. And that's so you don't walk in front of a moving car. So all this is safety. Some of it is government mandated, and some of it is Audi putting that in place. Heated seats, vented seats, massaging seats, of course. Beautiful, top quality leather. I do like this, and I like the color, and I love the diamond stitching that they've put in over the years. One thing, audio system is 20 speakers, Bang & Olufsen. I'm not sure if I like the speaker right behind my head. The first time you hear it, it kind of makes you jump. A lot of brands are doing it. Even the Infiniti QX80 has it. It's become sort of a standard thing, so you can listen to the audio, be immersed in the audio if you wish. It's just a personal choice. You can adjust all that in the settings that you wish. There's tons of places to charge in this car. There is wireless charging, of course. And as you work your way across, you're gonna see these beautiful materials, very modern, carbon fiber materials, beautiful leather, Alcantara, top and bottom of the steering wheel are flat. You saw that a lot in a lot of different cars. It's not the first vehicle to come up with this, but everybody's following suit. Flat bottom steering wheels are great for getting in and out. You don't hit your legs against the bottom of the steering wheel, and the top is good so that you can see better visibility in front of you, which means you put your hands where they're supposed to be, which is 3 and 9. Controls on the left side for adjusting the screen in front of you. On the right side is going to have your heated steering wheel and all of that. Your drive mode button is on the center console. There is a balance, which is going to use what it needs for electric without using too much. Your dynamic is going to be your performance mode. You've got your comfort, your efficiency, your off-road. But overall, all this information is easy to use, and that's the most important thing. Lots and lots of safety. The only thing that's optional is the lane centering and the adaptive cruise control. I like adaptive cruise control. I'm not a fan of lane centering, but again, these are personal choices. Navigation is fantastic. I mean, absolutely fantastic. Easy to read, shows the roofs of houses. It's kind of scary how detailed it can get if you want it to be. Everything's easy to use. You have a linear, and there goes an Audi R8. Their performance line they don't make anymore, which they make other performance cars, but not the R8, unfortunately. Back to the shifter. The shifter is here, and in front of that, you've got your around view camera and your park assist. Behind the shifter and the cup holders is a very low, very deep center console for storage. Really nice. Everything in this vehicle is very premium. And that's one of the things I've always liked about the Audi product line. Just really nicely done. Competes head to head with all the premium brands, which is, of course, Mercedes-Benz and BMW, but it's also Genesis, which has an electrified version of a vehicle similar to this. We'll have the full list at the end. There's Land Rover, there's Jaguar. I mean, there's so much competition in this category that it's really important that you test drive all of them and then make a decision. Check with your insurance agent. That's where you're going to see the big differences. And I think buying an electric car is a personal choice. If you want an electric vehicle, it works for you, you have charging infrastructure nearby, that's great. There's no longer a $7,500 tax credit. There's no longer a charging credit, what used to be $1,200. So if you're buying one, you're buying it because you want it. I highly recommend you just want to lease these cars rather than buying them. Electric vehicles don't have great resale value, but if you want to use one, trade it back to the dealer and get a new one, you can have a new, very, very cool electric car year after year after year. They're still going to make them. So it's a personal choice. So it's really important that you think about your options before you make your final decisions. I like the fact that this vehicle is easy to drive. The brakes are great. It's well balanced. But what would you expect from an Audi, nothing less. Just a fantastic car that just has a different propulsion. Remember that all of our car news is on Car Coach Reports. Don't forget our radio show called The Drive. It's syndicated. You can find that at AM and FM stations coast to coast, or you can listen to it on podcast platform or in our YouTube channel, The Drive Car Show. There are some pros and cons when it comes to the 2025 and the 2026 Audi SQ6 Sportback. Starting with the positives: good real-world range, quick charging times, excellent technology, and this vehicle is just a really nice looking vehicle that performs all the way around. On the negative side, it gets very expensive compared to the gas version of this vehicle, which would be the Q5. But again, that's a personal choice, and of course, check with your insurance ratings. On the technology side, the only other negative is to get to the climate controls, you have to go through the screen, which changes what's on the screen. It just makes it a little frustrating. And again, there's a personal choice on that secondary screen in front of the passenger. Let's talk about the price for the Audi SQ6, starting at $75,000 and going up to $83,000. Now that seems pretty reasonable. When you start adding on all the options, you go to the top trim level, it does get a bit more expensive, and there are a lot of competitors. It's important that you take the Audi SQ6 for a test drive and all the competitors. The competitor list is long. The Porsche Macan Electric, BMW iX3, Genesis GV70 electrified, the Genesis GV60, which I really do like, the Cadillac Optic, the Mercedes-Benz EQB, Polestar 4, and the Maserati Gray Collie. Again, there are other competitors in this category. The electric category is shrinking a bit because there's no longer an electric vehicle credit coming from the federal government, but it's important that you have choices. If you want an electric vehicle, this is a great option. If you want something gas or hybrid, there are options out there as well from literally every brand. Take it for a test drive, check with your insurance agent before making a final decision. If you got value from this video, please like and subscribe. If you have any additional questions, put them down in the comments below. There are more details in the description. As a way to support our channel, you could buy me a cup of coffee. The link for that is in the description as well. Thank you so much for watching. I'm LaurenFix.